who work and train in higher education need to show evidence of creative or scholarly activity, also called scholarship. I'd like to explain key features of academic scholarship. Here at the University of Colorado School of Medicine, scholarship is defined in broad terms, following Ernest Boyer's model of scholarship. This model includes what has been called traditional scholarship as well as non-traditional scholarship, and has 4 types: scholarship of discovery, of application, of integration, and education. Scholarship of discovery is what we might think of as traditional research that advances knowledge. It includes hypothesis-driven investigations and, generally speaking, is investigator-initiated. Typical evidence for research as scholarship is grants and pubs. Grants are the result of peer-reviewed competition and funding awards, often from national entities that support research. Publications refer to peer-reviewed journals where investigators publish the results of these studies. Grants and pubs are also known as traditional scholarship and have 3 specific qualities by which other forms of scholarship are judged. Specifically, they first have an objective measure of quality, recognizing the work as excellent by academic peers. Second, they have a measure of impact and importance. And third, they have a statement of individual contribution or a person's individual creative leadership. Let's discuss these 3 characteristics because non-traditional scholarship is judged based on these qualities of traditional scholarship. In academics, peer review is the highest standard of quality. For grant competitions and to publish in peer-reviewed journals, academics submit their work to be judged, often anonymously, by academic peers with content expertise. Those peer reviewers follow strict protocols to be transparent and fair and objective in their assessments. Impact and importance are how influential is this new knowledge? Does it change the field, or is it used by other researchers? Measures of impact include the number of citations in peer-reviewed journals of that work and other evidence that this research has been important or influential for the professional field. Some aggregate impact metrics are designed to encapsulate this and other features. For example, to measure the number of publications and how often they're cited over time. Metrics are also used to describe a person's body of scholarly work. One common metric is the H-index, which is the number of articles for which that author has been cited at least that same number of times. So an H-index of 20 means you have 20 articles that have been cited at least 20 times. There are other metrics, and it's imperfect, and yet citation rate is a standard measure of impact for a single article or a person's overall citation rate for all of their peer-reviewed publications. So, what was your role in producing this work? Many peer-reviewed journals require that authors describe and disclose in specific terms what each author did to contribute to the work. It is in each paper, and it's not easy to find, and yet it is a public document that you and your co-author sign attesting to your individual contributions. These clear statements of individual contribution are part of defining your role in group or team scholarly activities and, therefore, how you are recognized for your creativity and get credit for your work in your academic home. Let me describe the other types of scholarship, often referred to as non-traditional scholarship, and then we'll revisit how to think about non-traditional scholarship meeting the standards of traditional scholarship. Scholarship of application refers to products that bridge theory and practice or apply knowledge to practical problems. Clinical care may be an application of best evidence derived from science. One example could be new evidence-based clinical pathways. For clinical care applications to be scholarship, these activities must demonstrate those elements of scholarship that we just discussed. So, You need an objective measure of quality, some evidence of impact or importance, and some statement of your role in that work. Now, suppose you were on the team or leading the team to create a clinical care pathway. The pathway is based on scientific evidence and required your clinical expertise to apply this knowledge to the clinical problem. The pathway alone is not scholarly work without additional features. You might say, well, my hospital adopted this pathway and therefore subjected many patients to it. Okay, I would consider that the lowest form of evidence for quality because they might not know any better. You need content experts who are objective to say, yes, this is quality. Yes, I might adopt this. Yes, this is changing the way the world will take care of patients. So you need some metric of objective quality. In terms of impact and importance, you need evidence that this pathway is effective. How can you prove that implementing your pathway improved patient quality and safety? And then, what was your role? None of these big clinical care initiatives are done alone. Many are done with multidisciplinary teams in extensive collaborations. So, how do you define your role, ideally a leadership role, in the application of knowledge to this practical problem? That's how you think about scholarship of application. Scholarship of integration is a synthesis of existing research that brings new connections across disciplines or new insights into what is considered to be known. Many review articles or book chapters are examples of scholarship of integration. So you don't need to do new research yourself, but your compilation of existing research can be a new or novel scholarly contribution. Finally, scholarship of teaching. This type of scholarship focuses on the development of new teaching methods, the assessments of those methods, their learning outcomes, and also the dissemination of highly effective curricula or other instructional materials. So, assume you've created a new curriculum for a course and you spent 3 to 5 years perfecting it. That's a lot of work, and you feel good about it, and learners like it. Student evaluations, however, are the lowest standard of evidence for quality because students may have many reasons for giving you good or bad ratings. You need your teaching and mentoring peers to evaluate your approach and your work and judge it as high quality. The more objective the peers, the better. You also have to share it through dissemination in order to have an impact in the world. Remember, the final step in the scientific method is dissemination of findings. Thinking about impact, some educators have a proxy for impact using measures of reach. You can see how many people enrolled in your course, logged into your online course, or how many people completed your course and passed summative assessments. In the same way, traditional researchers use journal impact factor, which shows there's a potential to reach many readers, but you don't really know how many people read or took action after engaging with your work. Do you know how it changed their work or changed knowledge or practice? You may not know the impact, but reach is a good proxy for impact in scholarship. So, to summarize, you don't have to be a big-time, well-funded researcher to create a significant body of creative and scholarly work. And yet, non-traditional scholarship doesn't have the same built-in metrics of traditional scholarship. For any of your creative work, you must seek those scholarship attributes in order to demonstrate quality, impact and importance, and creative leadership. Traditional scholarship is almost always the easiest way. In fact, I recommend that you triangulate. In other words, for every 2 products of non-traditional scholarship you produce, you also produce 1 traditional product of scholarship. The closer you can get to these traditional scholarship standards, the more credit your non-traditional work will get as you build the case for your work as scholarship.